How to talk to anyone. Book of the day. 92 little tricks to big success in relationships. It's funny. One of the things um, I post a lot. If you see my Snapchat, I buy like 8 books every day, and have them Amazon usually. And I don't read all 8. I read at least one book a day, but I'll flip through the other 7. And I started to do a thing where I post them on my Snapchat and see which ones are most interesting, because Snapchat, my story, will show me how many people screenshot. And so I posted 8 books yesterday, and this one, which I've read before, people love the most. So you got like double the screenshots. So it's pretty interesting. For all you entrepreneurs, that's how you want to build your business. I call that CDRs, customer driven response. Build around what people want to hear, as long as it's, as long as you're being authentic and you're also interested in it. I'm not going to talk about books I don't like just because other people like them, but this is a cool book, and it's kind of a classic book, old school, on how to be better socially. So check out my Snapchat. It's Ty Lopez and the number 1. You can see my story, all the books I post, maybe get some ideas for yourself. But I thought I'd go over for today's book of the day, like a few cool little tricks that you can do to be better. And when I think about social, like to myself, like I was playing soccer today. I have a soccer coach just to get my soccer game up a little bit. Football, for all of those who not in the U.S. And he was having me do all the drills, right-footed and left-footed. And it was funny. It's like I was thinking, dude, my left foot is so freaking weak compared to my right foot, and so uncoordinated. And we're talking about the hemispheres of the brain, and which is a little bit been debunked. It's not exactly like your right brain is controlled by the left side, all that stuff. But in general, we have a weak side and we have a strong side of our personality. But I think of it like a metaphor, like as an entrepreneur. I know entrepreneurs have amazing products. They're strong there, but then they're imbalanced. Their marketing sucks. I know people are amazing marketers, but they're selling crap. So it's like fast food. What you really want is balance in life. And one area that most of us, because we're not really taught this by our parents, definitely not taught it by the current educational system, is how to be better at communicating, better in social skills, whether it be for dating, romance, but meeting an investor, meeting a business partner, negotiating treacherous friendships and acquaintances and friends of friends, and you're at a party and you want to talk to some, I like to be a skilled social person is so important that if you talk to, I've gotten to know Matt Lieberman. He wrote this book called Social, and he's from Harvard, and now he's at UCLA, and he's this famous PhD that studies with all these complicated fMRI machine experiments how our brain works. He said, Ty, it's pretty simple. Most of your brain activity is devoted to social calibration. So are you doing good talking to people? Does this person hate you? What gossip is going on? Like he says, even when you think you're not thinking, that's what the social parts of your brain are like firing full bore. So it's kind of weird that this is a subject that most of us have to learn the hard way. Like you don't learn math the hard way. Somebody teaches you. 9 times 9 is 81. They teach you how to memorize techniques. So this book is kind of like that, like 92 little tricks. So what are some of them to be better? I'm going to just flip through some of my notes that I thought were some cool ones here. Okay. Posture. Where is it? Your posture is your biggest success barometer. So you can read the book yourself. I'm going to give you kind of my take on it. So there's a lot of things about how to stand. And I know a guy, he teaches men to be better with women by like putting your chest out and walking, he says, like a gorilla. And so I think with the posture thing, there's some truth and some exaggeration. I don't think if you're horrible socially, you can just stand a certain way and all of a sudden all your social trouble goes away. You go from being overly introverted to this social god. It's not going to happen. But with that said, people underestimate posture. And one trick I've started to do, now I go on camera. I used to be kind of a behind-the-scenes entrepreneur. For whatever reason, I'm in front of a camera now. Sometimes I think that's good. Sometimes I think it's bad. But watch yourself. Get a friend to follow you around in any social setting, even in your own house, and just video you and watch how you stand. Because it's like crazy. I've realized how my posture sometimes makes me look like an idiot. I did this, Mark Cuban was over here and I did this 5 hour we were shooting. And some of the videos, I'm like, do I really look like that when I'm walking? Like I was a little slouched over, my belly was sticking out. And I was thinking, the video camera doesn't lie, man. So focus a little on posture. And I talked to one of my trainers, personal trainers, and he told me a good technique for posture is he said people with bad posture, their belly button points down. Try to point your belly button a little bit up. And since he's told me that one little trick has recalibrated my posture whenever I remember it. Sometimes I forget it, but so that was his little technique. So I think posture will help in social settings. People see you across the room, you're walking, your stomach's out, you look sloppy. Your calibration socially drops down a little bit. All right. Number 2. This is number 27 in the book. It's all about how to not sound anxious. And then it says, let them discover your similarity. Okay, here's the deal, and I'm sure you would agree with me on this. If you have high levels of anxiety, you need to fix those because you'll never be good socially. If your palms are like sweating and people feel this like, oh my God, this person's desperate, So one of the marks of a great social person to me, it's not if they can make the whole room laugh. Sometimes you see a movie and it's like the best social person. He walks in the room, they sit down on the piano, they start singing or guitar, or there's 10 people and they walk up and they're like, ha ha ha, oh yes, and all of a sudden everybody's laughing and all that. Like that's one kind of social skill, but I don't think everybody has to be a comedian or a performer. But I'll tell you, to me, the social masters of social skills are those cool people. And I think it's ironic, like growing up in school, what did they always say? The cool kids. But when we think of cool, it's like hip. But no, what if it really meant like cool? Like they are cool under pressure. So even if you're freaking out, just don't talk at all. But be cool about it. So there's like socially awkward people who don't talk at all, but they go in the corner and just like get away at a party. Go in the middle of a group of people and just chill. In some of my videos, I had one of my childhood friends. We've been friends since we were 2, Jeremy. And I did this Lamborghini. We did these Lamborghini lessons and we were driving around. And so many people have like commented, dude, who's that Jeremy guy? He hardly talked, but he looked cool. They literally wrote, like, because he was just sitting there with his coffee in the passenger seat, just like chilling. And so who knows? He might have been freaked out inside. He might have had nothing to say. But instead of people thinking he had 0 social skills, everyone thought he was a Mac Daddy. So sometimes, that saying, fake it till you make it. Fake it that you're cool until you really have something good to say. So if you're sweaty palms, freaked out, don't know how to speak, just get in there, practice in the mirror ahead of time, like how to just be there and be like, it's kind of nonchalant. Cool means like, I don't really care. Anxious is like reactive. And it's funny, in jiu-jitsu, I do Brazilian jiu-jitsu, guess who loses? People who react. You can fake them out. You can fake for an armbar, and then they try to move out, and then you put them in a triangle choke. Boxing, same thing. People got their, in boxing, you want to lower the right arm. Breathe. This is what makes a great boxer. Cool under pressure. So that's the second point that I think is a great kind of reminder to myself, because I get stuck in all these social settings. So the third one is number 46 here. You can pick up this book. It's in Amazon. It's an old school book. I think it was written in like the 80s. It was written. Oh, by the way, a second, I'm going to do a little Snapchat giveaway. So I'm going to give away an iPad mini in the next 24 hours. Okay? So all you have to do is follow my story. I'm giving away entrepreneur tools. An iPad mini is a cool little tool. You can read on it. You can check email, do some business on that. So all you have to do is follow my Snapchat on Ty Lopez, the number 1. And new followers, I'll just randomly pick a new follower in the next 24 hours. And if it's you, I'll direct message you or I'll Snapchat you a little chat asking for your email. So I just gave it to yesterday, a guy won. And his Snapchat was smurf.daddy. It turns out it's like a 20-year-old kid who's like, Ty, I've been following you forever. And he won I'm sending him an iPad mini. I think he's in Phoenix. I actually put it on my Snapchat, a screenshot. of his. He wrote me a long thing. He actually wrote on my last YouTube video. It's kind of cool. So there's real winners. I'm gonna pick somebody. Might as well be you. And even if you don't win, my story has all kinds of cool entrepreneur tips. It's all free. So just go to Ty Lopez, the #1. If you follow me in the next 24 hours, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube, because I'm gonna start giving away something every day. And if you're subscribed to my YouTube, you'll catch it because you got 24 hours to do it. So when you subscribe, you get an alert when I upload a new one. So subscribe to the YouTube and then go to Snapchat, Ty Lopez, and then #1 and follow my story. And I'll just pick somebody. It'll be a random giveaway. Sometimes I do contests. This will be a random one. All right. The third tool, number 46, to be better socially. This is a good one, man. I can tell you from having a lot of people watch my stuff that if I do this wrong, it messes everything up. This is called how to really make it clear to them. On-target analogies hit bullseyes. So, to be better socially, one of the things that we do wrong, that I've done wrong, is you go out there and you're not clear. People don't know what the hell you're talking about. You ever been around somebody, they talk for 10 minutes and you're like, what the heck did this guy just say? Just took 10 minutes of my life babbling about nothing. So what this book says is analogies, or I call them metaphors or stories. Man, those trump everything. You want to be good socially? Find one good story. It's kind of like old people. You ever met like an old dude, he's like 75, and he always has like one badass story that he tells you over and over. My uncle was in World War II, and he would always tell, and I never got sick of this story either because it was so badass. Him and McCart, he was an engineer in the Army Corps of Engineers, and once we started beating the Japanese, they started liberating all these POW camps, and my uncle, Danny, he went with MacArthur to liberate, and they walked into this one prison camp where it had American POWs, and the Japanese had tortured them so much, not giving them food, that they were just like skeletons, kind of like German concentration camps. They're still alive, but weighed like 70 pounds. And the general, I don't know if it was MacArthur or whatever general, he said, tomorrow we hang these Japanese. And they hung all the Japanese. Now, I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but I never forgot that story. And I'll tell you what, when he used to tell that story at parties, people would be like, that's a pretty damn crazy story. And so you got to have one good story, and you can read. And he used to use that story. You know, he was older. He just died last year at, I think, 98. But he would tell me that story once a year. And, you know, he was my older uncle, so I always listened. I never stopped him. But it was a good story. And now I'm passing it on to you. And, you know, he said the next day, we took all those Japanese people that had tortured Americans and we hung them. I didn't know you could do that, but apparently you probably couldn't do it, but nobody was going to stop the American generals that were pissed. So, now, this is an extreme story. Don't use this exact story. You might piss people off or be a little too violent, but find something from your childhood. You know, this is how you convey messages. People think in stories. They call that ontology in psychology. Like, we think in stories, you know. So if you don't, I have at least loaded in the barrel of my social Uzi 20 stories that I built up over time. I've tested. Now, you got to test the stories, because sometimes you tell the stories, and when you tell them, you see people's eyes glazing over, then it's not a good story. Throw it out of your, arsenal. But over time, even if you suck socially, this will change your life. Because remember, you go to new social settings, they haven't heard the story. You'll get better and better and better at telling it, to the point where people are like, who the heck was that guy? He just walked in, walked out, and I'm mesmerized, and I want to hang out with them more. And boom, social life grows. So check out the book. Pretty good. There's 92 total. So there are 89 more. I gave 3. So Lee Lowndes. Yeah, this book came out in freaking 2003. So it's been out for a day. There are 2 kinds of people in this life. Those who walk in a room and say, well, here I am. And those who walk in and say, ah, there you are. That's a good little tip. Don't be selfish. Don't walk in the room and go, everybody look at me. Walk in a room and make other people feel good. So that's maybe bonus tip number 4. It's a good little opening. I love little quotes like that. That's a good quote. Those who walk into the room and say, well, here I am, and those who walk in and say, ah, there you are, and make other people feel special. So if you like these book of the days, I'm going to start posting these again. I got busy, wasn't able to post them. I put some of them in my, I'm putting out this little show, The Entrepreneur Show. You've seen some of the episodes. But follow YouTube so you're the first to see this stuff, because I'm going to be giving away tools all the time. I've given away so many Apple Watches this year, iPads, iPad minis, cool, trips. I gave away a trip with a charity friend of mine to, where was that? El Salvador or something? Nicaragua, to go down there. All expense paid down there. So, yeah, go to my Snapchat, follow Ty Lopez, the #1. I'll pick somebody in the next 24 hours I'll just scroll through my new people that followed. And if you already follow me, don't worry. I do other things like contests and stuff. Sometimes I do on my Instagram. Sometimes I do on Facebook. Here on YouTube, Snapchat, Twitter. I'm going to do them everywhere. So follow me on all those. It's good to follow. I follow all kinds of people on social networks just to watch what they're doing. Even if I don't care about them, I follow the Kardashians. I follow Justin Bieber. That's how you catch trends. You got to follow. Social media is the best way to catch trends because it's real time, snappy. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Talk to you soon. Be good with people. Oh, leave a comment, a little survey. In addition to these 92, or the 3 that I talked about, or 4, I guess, what's the best tool you found to be better socially, to command people's attention, to get people interested, to make people feel good and want to be around you? Keith Ferrazzi told me best rule of who your network is, because a lot of people are like, oh, I got all these phone numbers of business contacts. He said, no, it doesn't count unless they smile when you text them. So you don't want to just build a big, some people go network and they talk to people and talk to people and talk to people, and they get a whole bunch of phone numbers and business cards, but it's only if they smile when they see you. Doesn't matter, so yeah. Talk to you soon.